Imagine this. A decade from now, a highly produced documentary drops on the world's biggest streaming platforms. Title is sleek, the teaser trailers are cryptic, and the central theme is jaw-dropping: how the palace managed, controlled, and even capitalized on internal leaks. From the very first minute, the audience is left to wonder, what has been happening behind those gilded gates that the public never fully saw? What strategies were used to maintain control of the narrative, and who exactly benefited most? This is not just speculation. It's a scenario that is beginning to stir conversations among royal watchers, media scholars, and political analysts alike. Because when it comes to the monarchy, the most fascinating stories are not the fairy tales. They are the power plays hidden in plain sight. Like, share, and subscribe before we continue the untold royal story. Leaks have always been a delicate subject for the monarchy. They're not always malicious, and sometimes they appear almost strategic. A quiet whisper to a journalist, a source close to the family, a conveniently timed revelation. Each drop of information can shape headlines, shift public sympathy, and redefine reputations. But what happens if a future documentary strings these moments together, revealing a pattern? Would audiences interpret palace leaks not as accidents, but as deliberate instruments of influence? The monarchy is one of the last global institutions where image is everything. Every photo, every smile, every carefully timed statement contributes to the idea of continuity, tradition, and national unity. Now imagine a filmmaker showing that some of the leaks, the ones we thought were scandals, were actually part of a broader communication strategy. Suddenly, the line between palace secrets and palace storytelling begins to blur. Would the public see this as brilliant media management, or as a kind of performance carefully orchestrated for maximum effect? Here's where the figure of Mary Sue comes into play. In pop culture, a Mary Sue is someone seemingly flawless, almost too perfect. But in the context of royal narratives, Mary Sue could represent an idealized version of the palace's chosen image, the character crafted for public consumption. Future documentaries could ask, was this Mary Sue image built through transparency or through a carefully controlled drip of leaks and revelations? Was the public watching authenticity or an expertly curated storyline? The controversy here is not about right or wrong, it's about perception. The monarchy has mastered the art of storytelling. What does that mean for those who believed every headline was spontaneous? No palace leak lives in isolation. The media plays its role, sometimes willingly, sometimes unknowingly. Journalists thrive on exclusives, and audiences crave drama. Future documentaries expose the mechanics of this relationship. Viewers might see how a single piece of leaked information could serve multiple interests at once. Palace maintains relevance, the press gets its headline, and the public gets its spectacle. But here's the tension. Does this symbiosis empower the monarchy, or does it make them dependent on a media cycle they can't always control? Let's picture the premiere of this future documentary. Social media ignites. Commentators debate whether the palace was playing a brilliant long game or simply adapting to an evolving media landscape. Some audiences might applaud the sophistication of the palace's approach, seeing it as a masterclass in modern communication. Others might question whether the idea of authenticity is ever possible when every story, every leak, and every rumor can be part of a broader script. Controversy becomes not about the palace itself, but about us, the viewers. Do we want reality, or do we prefer the perfectly packaged version of it? This is where the future documentary could deliver its sharpest punch. If every leak, every revelation, and every scandal is part of a carefully woven narrative, then who truly owns the story of the monarchy, the institution itself, the media, or the people? And if a monarchy thrives on tradition but communicates through strategy, does it become stronger, or does it risk becoming something entirely different? A living narrative shaped not by chance but by design? So let's leave the question hanging. If one day the world discovers that the palace's greatest scandals were not accidents but part of a deliberate strategy, would that make the monarchy more powerful? Or would it change the way we, the public, choose to believe in them? After all, what is royalty if not the ultimate story told over centuries? And what happens when the storytellers finally pull back the curtain?